This is a camera test. Rim shot, regular, rim shot. Alright, so here we are, my test. On here, I put coated Remo Ambassadors on the batter of my Premier APK Heritage Jazz Kit. It's a 20 by 14. Thank God we seem to be getting back to the 14-inch depths, but I mean off the rack of like cheaper, lower line stuff. I mean the more expensive stuff always had the 14s more or less you could get, but not the sort of off the rack kind of stuff. Move over here. 8 by 12, 14 by 14. Just a test video. I had here, I think who I bought this from. I got this on eBay. It's very nice. This is a under 2,000 gram, early 60s of Edith Zildjian. See, look at that bell, man. That's before they went to that. I don't know if you can see it. It's before they went to that crazy big bell that they've recently gotten. I think they just got away from a couple of years ago. B20 alloy. Here's a Sabian. I got this with the drum set. An AA medium crash. I would imagine this thing's probably maybe 15 years old. 16. I don't often play them, but let's see how it sounds. You know, the funny thing is to me that actually sounds like a Paiste. That sounds like a B8 Paiste to me. It's very nice. I think it's a Gabriel. All right. So what we're gonna do? Let's see what else we got around here. You know what? Let me take off. This is. You know what? This is a Blacrolite. Ludwig doesn't make these anymore, I don't believe. So of course, you know, there'll be a pining for them again. Eventually they'll be brought back. It might take another 5 years. The early 6.5 Blackrolite had tone controls. Here. This is a later one. But you know, people are going to be looking for these babes. You know why they sound great. And it's a superphonic shell. But it has this coating on there, which just deadens the shell. And it looks kind of nifty, right? But it just deadens deadens the shell just enough. All right, what else can I, you know what I'm going to put on here? Oh, check this out, man. People. This is, I didn't really realize these babies existed. Guys used to talk, folks used to talk about them on the drum chat rooms or forums or whatever. An R380, okay? They have R360s or whatever, but this is a Rogers drum, which was aimed, the kits were aimed at more the lower line, you know, like to compete, I think, when the Japanese stuff first originally started coming in back in the day. But this is a heavy as hell, seamless spun steel shell. Very substantial. Essentially, what do people say, essentially? It's like an 8-lug Super 10. Oh, I got this thing on eBay for like 58 bucks. Yeah, and it's a nice drum. Blow up. What can you do? Well, you know what we got to do? Let's put a crash cymbal up there before we start going berserker. Oh, look at this. I got this from one of the fellas on the drum forum. Look at that. You don't often see. This is a 70s Zildjian, but I'd never seen, as did one of the other guys that commented, this particular ink stamping. Usually you'd see it in the earlier ones like the 60s, maybe 50s too. Medium thin, and some of that stuff would be in a real thin font, real long looking, like it would say, like almost like a sort of a harrowing, sort of spooky looking font. But I've never seen this font before. Check it out. Isn't that spherical? So again, this is after, instead of tubular, we're doing spherical. This is after Zildjian went to the large bells to keep up with the volume. That was their answer. God knows it took them long enough to deviate again. Although, you know, maybe their bells still look like that. I mean, some older stuff pre this bell did look like that. But it wasn't on like each and every cymbal you got. Pre, whatever, loud noise, accommodating. Now that's a classic Avita Zildjian 18. Nice sound. I mean, I like Zildjians. But you know, see how, especially with this like that, even though the sustain goes on, it's a much lower frequency. And there's a harder sound to it. Like, you know what I mean? And actually, I have this guy. What else do I got? Where's my guy? You know, again, I'm going to put up my Cymbal, Paiste Cymbal 65. Remember, this is the first alloy, first cymbal line ever to be made out of B8 alloy, which I think was an industrial alloy at the time. It was an alloy that existed, but they decided to use it for cymbals. Softer, so there's more copper in it. And I found that the earlier B8 alloy that Paiste used, even up through the 70s, at least on the 505s and the 404s, had a softer, it was softer. See these little bell dents? You'll often see little bell dents, and they'll rarely crack. But I think Paiste, I talked to Eric Paiste about that. He and I had a cymbal romance. We talked for a week, a lot on the phone. He said, well, it's because they've aged. I don't buy that. Because I had a 505 that I kind of bought brand new back in the day, and the bell got on the dent in the bell got on the receipt. But anyway, I think that they might have, maybe they just switched the annealing or something in the process or so. That's what I think. But I do find that the hi-hats that seem to be made out of that softer, even everything actually, all the early Green Label 505s, the 2002s all through the 70s, they seem to have that softer B8 alloy, I think, which sounds better. Not that the other ones sound worse. Well, let me put it this way: the hi-hats that I found, my favorite hi-hats is a pair of 14-inch and 15 too, 505 medium hi-hats, and the softer ones, they're they're perfect sounding. I don't have a pair right here handy, but anyway, let's just play and stop yapping. So here's the R380 stainless steel, well, steel. Snare, 8-lug. I've been recently turned on. I'm sure all these people have known about these for years and years and years, and I'm reluctant to even talk about it because the price, well, they could start getting bid up on eBay. Maybe it's happening already. Nice drum, man. I mean, this is heavy as hell. I think the lug is really heavy, but the shell is heavy. You know what? The shell is heavy because I took this thing apart and cleaned it. Or did my best job. So let's play some stuff. What should we play? Again, the Nikon, if I post this, this will mean something. My Nikon camera is coming. I'm still meeting with my video guys. So this is a short run thing just with my iPhone 6. People said it sounded better than my other camera. Apparently it doesn't. Moxie, apparently it doesn't clip. So here it is. So raise this guy just a smidgy widge. Oh, I made my video before on apparently the Evans heads are all what they call a level 360 technology or whatever, proprietary. Evans will fit larger like the Gretsch drums. You know, the Gretsch drums were slightly oversized. So if you ever have a problem with that, get those Evans level 360. I don't know why. I love Remos. I don't know why they don't make a head for a vintage look slightly oversized. Anywho, I know people say, oh, but you can get them for Premier Metric, blah, 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 blah. Right off the shelf, if I walk into Guitar Center, or very easily it'd be nice to order a 14-inch snare head if you have a Gretsch wood shell snare that you want to play, but the heads won't fit on it, right? That's what I say, Remo. Just kidding. I don't really play that way. That's like the, you know, I cannot, that frickin' intro, Max, it's alright, buddy. That intro to Spirit in the Radio. This is wrong. On the bell there. I don't know that tune, but I would like to really figure out how that goes. What else can I go on and babble about? Here are my cymbals from the cymbal video. Remember the priceless Hellblade? You know, I'm sure there is a pair of 14-inch hats, or 15s, I guess, the 14s that Hellblade did use, that are in fact all over so many of those studio recordings. Anyway, hey! So here we go, what else? Oh yeah, I know in my 8, you know, the 8 drum intros, everyone should know, I put out there, it was a joke. I was fooling around because there are a lot of 10 this and 8 this. I just put it out there to see how many hits it would get. I mean, I knew it would get slammed. For everybody, like, I mean, obviously, since, you know, my taste of music, you know, since in the past 30 years, there's all kinds of other songs that have great drum intros, right? I mean, obviously, I just haven't heard them. But anyway, I just really, and I'm surprised it's gotten so many hits. So I'm going to start making 8 this, 10 that, 20 this. I think that's the way to go. So, But in my 8 drum intros where I talk about the shoe, which everybody seems to find funny, but I'm dead serious. Sometimes I need a, like I can't with my, all right, so what did I do? I did the, well, the one thing on there that still really just obviously sounded like shite. I mean, I made that video really fast. What is the, come on and dance, da-na-na-na. Hear that? That my bass drum there is slaggy. It's not on. It's got to be more like that. Not. Let's see how it's like sloppy? Like there? It's got to be more. Da, 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 da. Like real pretty. Oh, of course you have the hi-hat. Sloppy. Faster too. Hang on. What I'm gonna do? Let me, honest to God, tighten this pedal up just a little. I don't normally do this. Let me try that. Has to get going. That last accent. That last one, which I historically always did poorly. You know what's funny? Somebody actually did post on one of these drummer forums that was overdubbed. They said that I guess Gary Malaber maybe did maybe just the, and then added the, I don't know. Somebody said that. It definitely can be played obviously by somebody with some skill. One drummer without an overdub. So it'll be terrific. Check this out. So I have a Nikon coming that has a mic input, really nice camera. Again, we're gonna shoot some Godfather films with it. I have my board over there. Is it a Yamaha board or a Mackie? I have like 8 microphones, which would be nice. And I also have a Presonus preamp thing that I bought 10 years ago that I left in the box. But I'm also going to be working with the video guys separately. So it'll be nice. I'm going to have some high quality stuff. I'm sorry it took so long, but you know, I am 46. I'm married with children. You have other stuff going on. But again, thanks for watching my videos. I don't even know if I'm going to post this. I'm going to look over it and just see how it goes. But I think it's smart to just keep posting something. People want to see something, I think. Well, you know, it's just good for my viewership, my presence, You know what? I saw the other day, I'm going to see a movie with my wife. I saw a couple movies in the past 2 weeks. And in the ads, you know, it's funny now, because a lot of actors and everything, I mean, TV's become very popular. You know, a lot of big TV's become a lot better because it has to compete for viewership now, right? Like a lot of back in the day, you're on TV and then you'd hope to get into movies, right? There's a lot of people in movies that are going back over to TV. Nonetheless, what happens is I saw in one of those ads, it was like a commercial you'd see on TV, but like in the movie theater, of a YouTube personality selling. What was her name? Like Melanie Maker. Selling, I don't know, makeup or something. Be nice. I'm going to be in a Ludwig commercial like, hi, Terry Keating, YouTube personality, selling some Ludwigs. Which I wouldn't do, actually. I don't want to be a whore to any corporate empire. But anyway, I did notice that. That's kind of neat. I think YouTube is really still an untapped resource. And again, we'll go out, we'll go out on some drum playing. Here we go. So, my 15-inch Desert Island Evita Zildjian hi-hats. How does that Zeppelin tune go? I made a video for it. I listened to it a bunch of times, made a video. I think it's accurate. I forget what it is. Alright, so. Ah, guess that song. Okay, so guess that. That's a really great song by one of my favorite bands. It's from a great song. Oh yeah, that the tuning here reminds me of Pinball Wizard. By the way, listen to it if you can. There's Pinball Wizard drums only on YouTube. Okay, you can find it. I think I mentioned another couple videos. Listen to how, I mean, if you listen to the drums only, how, you know, it's sloppy. I mean, I'm not saying in general Keith Moon was always sloppy, like one of the Smothers Brothers or whatever said, there's here on the sloppy drums, that kind of thing. But on this recording, I mean, it's pretty sloppy. But I mean, the way it sounds together in the context is brilliant when you hear the whole thing together. But anyway, I always love that part, like, so that's like the who tuning there. Anyway, oh, hang on. You know what I'd really like to do is really learn Manic Depression all the way through. Because it's really neat what the late great Mitch did there. So the bass room kind of going out in quarters, right? And what he does, sort of the pattern, right? What he does, though, is he does accent. You know, I hit my finger so hard, I'm waiting to see if this turns blue. Actually, it kind of starting to turn blue. I don't know if you can see that, but if you rewind to whatever point that was, I smacked my fingers so hard on that snare. So let's just wait and see if I get a nice blood blister. So, Manic Depression. So, remember the basic. In the bread and butter part. But what he does, it's more like... You know what I mean? You have that. So I don't even know if he hits that. He might actually just hit the bell. I mean, on those accents and not the other times. So. But I can't help but think he's hitting the ride there and the other. So. Moving around the toms with your left hand. me a minute. This hasn't been in my brain for a while. Gotta clear out all the Zeppelin stuff, pick it up, move the furniture out, get the Zeppelin cymbals off the brain room, just paint it with psychedelia and Mitch Mitchell down my afro. Mitch Mitchell afro, no slam against the Hendrixium. Pretty sure he goes. Okay. Anyway, so that's a bunch of rambling, a bunch of this, a bunch of that. That's what's going on. I'm excited about the new videos. I guess that's as blue as it'll get. But anyway, thanks for watching. I might not even post this. But I just wanted to do a little update of what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Ooh.